Hello everyone, this is Dave from daveswreathsandthings and welcome to my channel. Whether you are a returning friend or whether you are a brand new viewer to my channel, everybody is always welcome here. Today I am super pumped, super thrilled, super excited, super any positive adjective that you can think of, that's what I am today. I am teaming up with the amazingly talented and amazingly kind Bree from Bree's Arts. Today, the two of us are going to show you some Father's Day DIYs that don't suck. Am I allowed to say that? I'm going to say it anyways. Let's say Father's Day gift DIYs that he's actually going to use and are pretty cool, if I can say so myself. I don't know if I can. I did them, but I think they're pretty cool. I would love them. Anyways, after you check out my video, don't forget to click the links down below to watch Bree's video and to check out her channel. If you've never heard of her before, she's awesome, she's talented, she's super fun, and she does gag reels at the end of each video. So, a lot of fun, she makes me laugh. So, DIY number one, let's hop to it. And we're off to the races. DIY number one, my industrial watch holder. I have these galvanized steel pipe pieces here, and what I'm doing is I'm starting off with a 5-inch piece and a 90, along with a 1.5-inch piece, another 90-degree elbow, and another 5-inch piece. This is going to create the base of my watch holder. Then at those ends, I'm going to attach 2 more 90-degree elbows, and that's going to be the vertical portion of the watch holder. And that there is a 3.5-inch piece of pipe, and then I'm going to attach at the front a 2-inch piece of pipe, such that the back portion is a little bit taller than the front portion. And I'm just hand tightening these right now. I'm going to add 2 more of the 90-degree elbows right at those pieces at the top, hand tighten them as far as I can go, and then I'm going to screw in the pipe and use that as a lever to actually screw that in nice and tight. And another 90 for the front portion. I'm going to put that pipe in. This one is another 5-inch pipe, twist that to the front, and add my 2 end caps. Now, you can totally leave it here just like this if you want, or you can add a little bit of twine to it, and I'll show you that in a second. First, what I want to do is put a little bit of this Gorilla Glue right in the corners and the threads, such that it all stays together. So here's my twine that I'm going to add on for that finishing touch. The 2 top pipes that go across that the watches lay on, I wanted to do a little bit of, I guess, a little, I don't know, add a little je ne sais quoi to it. So all I'm going to do is twist that twine around the pipe. There you go. Say that 10 times fast. Twist that twine. Twist that twine. And then when I get to the end, I'm just going to create a knot and tie that really tight around the backside so nobody can see it, and chop off the excess there. I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on the top half as well. I'm going to twist that twine all the way around and then chop off the excess, tie it with a knot, and then cut off that rest of the piece that's hanging there. And there's our little industrial pipe watch holder. Here it is sitting on my nightstand. I just love how this turned out, and I know the person you're going to give this to is going to love it just as much as I do. DIY number 2, Hex Nut Bracelet. So when I was coming up with ideas for this video, I knew I wanted to make a bracelet, but I didn't know what I was going to do. All I know is I wanted to make a bracelet. So I decided to use twine and hex nuts. And I'm going to do the only knot in macrame that I know. I mean, I was taught macrame years and years and years ago, and I only remember one knot. So what I've done is I've created 2 very long pieces of string. I'm going to tie them at the top such that it creates a loop. So I just folded those pieces of string in half, created a loop, and did a little knot. I'm going to hold it down with some painter's tape And I have 4 pieces of twine that I'm working with today. There's a left piece, a right piece, and 2 pieces in the center. Those 2 pieces in the center pretty much are your anchors, if you will. And all I do with those 2 is I push my belly against the table and hold them in place. Now, for the first on the left-hand side, you're going to make a number 4. Then that's going to go underneath your right string. And then with your right string, you're going to create a reversed number 4. And with that string, you're going to take the end, go underneath the center 2 and through the loop of your left string. Then when you pull those 2 ends, you'll create your first knot. And that's our knot, really. You just do that over and over again. So let's do it again together. So create that number 4. That left-hand piece goes underneath the right-hand piece. That right-hand piece creates a reverse number 4. And you go underneath the 2 center pieces and through the loop of the left-hand string. And then all you do is you just pull it nice and tight, creating your second knot. And then you just do this knot over and over and over and over again for as long as you want, for as little as you want. You can count the knots too, so you know it's nice and even. I just stopped around, I think it might be maybe 25, 30 knots. I didn't really count. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 center pieces, grab a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm just going to tape that nice and tight around those 2 pieces of tape. It's almost like I'm creating like a shoelace. You know how your shoelaces at the very end have that piece of plastic so you can fit it through the eyelets really easy? That's the exact same thing I'm doing here. So I'm just fitting that with the hex nut in the center. I'm going to push it all the way to the end, and then I'm going to do 1 knot to keep it in place. Now, if you want, you can use multiple knots in between your hex nuts. That's totally up to you, or beads, or whatever you're using as your adornment. But I'm going to do 1 hex nut, 1 knot, 1 hex nut, 1 knot. That's what I've decided I'm going to do for this particular bracelet today. And actually, I think it turned out pretty good. I liked it. In total, I believe I did 7 of the hex nuts. And 7 is a lucky number, and 7 is also my favorite number. So it's kind of a personalized bracelet for me, if you will. So I'm making this for myself. So here I am, I'm just finishing it off. And then once I'm done adding all my hex nuts on there and doing my knots, I'm just going to continue knotting it all the way to the very end. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to match the length at the beginning to the length at the end here. So like I said, I counted maybe about 25 or 30. I'm just going by eye. And once I think I'm all done, I just tie a really, really tight knot at the very end. And that's going to create that little knot that goes through the loop at the top. I cut off the excess, take that tape off, and look, it's all done. How awesome does that look on my wrist? I just love how this turned out. My little Hex Nut Bracelet. And of course, we just made our watch holder, but this watch holder is versatile as it can hold your brand new Hex Nut Bracelet. DIY number 3, Rustic Hat Rack. I have a piece of 1x6x6 Knotty Pine wood that I cut up for the rest of the projects today. And what I'm doing is with my cut pieces, I am staining them with this oil-based wood stain by Varathane, and it's in the color Provincial. I kind of took a guess at, you look at the sample and you just kind of like, oh, maybe that's what I was looking for. So I was a little bit nervous, but once I took this stain and I threw it on I didn't throw it, and I put it on the wood, I was blown away. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. So with all my pieces, I pretty much did the front side and the sides as well. One of the larger pieces, I did both sides. You'll see that in a second. But I have all these others to do, so I'm going to stain all those and let it to dry. So here's that large piece. I did end up doing, like I said previously, both sides staining it. And for this, I'm going to put these little kitchen cabinet knobs on. And we're going to use those as the hat racks. So I've already measured out my piece, and I'm going to find the center. And I am doing 4 knobs. So I'm going to do 6 inches from the end. Then I'm going to do a knob every 8 inches. And then there will be another 6-inch space at the very end. So again, I'm doing 8-inch spacings. You can do whatever you want. I thought 8 inches to me was kind of the good size, good spacing to throw hats and caps and everything on there. So once I have all my holes marked out, I'm just going to take my drill and drill holes. There's 4 of them in total that I drill out. I'm going to double check that that screw fits in there. It does. So then I'm just going to continue on finding my marks and drill through such that I can create holes for the screws for those kitchen cabinet knobs, which will end up being my hangers for keys and miscellaneous caps. So here's my knob. I'm just going to put it through. Going to not tie it, I'm going to screw it in. Make sure it's nice and tight and sitting up vertically. And I'm just going to open up my other packages and put those on. And once I'm done, all my screws are laid in, all nice and tight, all 4 of them. Here is the end result. I just love how this turned out. Oh my God, I was so happy with it. Here it is hanging up all by itself. Again, I think that stain just came out so perfectly. It's exactly what I envisioned in my head. And of course, you can hang keys and caps, hats, anything you want on there. DIY number 4, a quick photo frame. I have another piece of 1 by 6 by 6, and I also have this little photo of me and my doggie. Her name is Dory. So I am not a father per se, but I am a dog dad. So I thought this would be perfect for her. Unfortunately, we lost her last year due to cancer. So I thought this would be a perfect little, memento for her, just to kind of a memory of my little Dory. So I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and I'm going to kind of, right here, I'm figuring out which way I'm going to go with it. So I decided that I'm going to have the piece of board vertical, and then I'm just going to put a layer of Mod Podge down. And once I get that layer down, I'm going to center my picture, and then I'm just going to hold it in place, press it down a little bit, and then I'm going to add some more Mod Podge right on the top of that as well. And of course, don't worry, this all dries clear. What I decided to do is I decided to do the entire piece of wood because I didn't know how the Mod Podge would look with the stain. So I thought I didn't want any discrepancy, so I did the whole thing. I totally let it dry. And then once it dried, I noticed it was a little bit too white for my liking. So I wanted more of a sepia tone to it. So I took some acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go over that really quickly with some watered down brown paint. And then I'm going to let that all dry. Once it's all dry, I decided I'm going to take a little bit of twine. And I got this idea from my really good friend Susie at Susie Stuff. If you haven't checked her out, totally check out her channel. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave her link below as well. But she inspired me with this, so I totally want to give her credit for it. I just love the crafts that she does, and I love how this turned out as well. So I love getting inspiration from other creative people and putting your own little twist to it. So that's what I did here today. So thank you, Susie. There we go, my little Dory. Oh, what a cutie. She was a golden retriever. She was just, oh my God, the kindest, sweetest soul ever. And I have it on my shelf now. I just love how this looks, and what a great memory. DIY number 5, our dad sign. So I have my last couple pieces of wood, and I also have these construction screws. They're black and they're 3.5 inches long, and it's the number 10 3.5 inch long construction screws. Of course, you know I'm a DIYer when I'm sitting here looking at the packaging going, oh, if I take this off and I do that and I do that. So there was ideas already, so I kept the packaging. What I did in a CAD drafting program is I created this grid with the width of the screw heads and the screw centers as well. So this is roughly a 6x14 piece of paper, and I laid out how I wanted to put my screws down. So I'm going to cut out my little template. Once that's all cut out, then I'm just going to place it down on the piece of wood, grab some masking tape or some painter's tape, and I'm just going to attach that to the piece of wood such that my template doesn't move as I'm marking those little circles. And I think there's about 150, maybe roughly around there, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But what I'm going to do with each one is I'm going to take the end of the screw, push it in. You'll see here the head of the screw is the same as the outside circle, so that's how I laid out. And on the inside circle is where I'm going to create my divot. Now I'm working with pine, which is very soft, so all I really had to do was push it down. Now you can totally do, pre-drill holes if you want to do it, nails if you want to do it that way as well. This is just how I came up with how I'm going to do it, really. My own little method to my madness. Now, once that is all punched in, I'm going to take off that template and I'm going to quickly show you the little indentations. You can kind of see them here, but I have all my little indentations on there. Now, what I started to do with this project first was I thought, you know what? I'm just going to screw these in by hand. And honestly, no, it just no. It did not work out for me. So it just took too long to do each screw. They were on an angle. I was standing up. So finally I thought, you know what? I'm going to take my little drill and I'm just going to slowly drill each one in. I just took my time, drilled each one of them in. Eventually I sat down, and that helped me a lot with the keeping it vertical, let's say, because I was having trouble with them kind of going in crooked, etc. But once I sat down, everything came up just vertical, straight. It was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So here you can see it's coming along. Now I have 2 pieces of wood, and also there's 4 screws in the corner. That's how I attach the 2 pieces of wood. So you'll see what I'm doing, how I'm going to finish that off towards the end. I was just playing around with a second piece of wood and thought, you know what, this looks really cool. I'm going to add it on here. So I am just continuing and continuing until I'm all done with all of my screws, and there you go. My screws are all done. Now I'm just going to finish it off with some twine and some hot glue to keep it all in place. And I just love how this turned out. Oh my God, I was so happy with it. You know when you have an idea in your head and you just don't know how it's going to come out? Well, I'm just really happy with this dad sign. I just thought it was so cool, very industrial, very now, just really awesome. I had such a good time making it, and the result just made me smile, let's put it that way. Now you can do a name if you want, or you could say Dad's Den or Dave's Den. Possibilities are endless. I hope you enjoyed today's Father's Day collaboration with DIY gifts that he'll actually use. And a huge thank you to Bree's Arts. Bree, thank you so much for asking me to join in today. I had so much fun. Don't forget to check out her links down below. Hello everyone, this is Dave. Today, no, intro Dave, intro. The host of this channel. How many times can you say channel in one freaking sentence? David? So how do I want to do this? So I'm gonna go, hi everybody, this is Dave, blah, 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 blah. hop on to and to my new subscriber. No. Wowzers. Okay, Mama Nature, turn the oven off. Dook, 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 dook. How many times does one have to pat down their face to stop sweating? Insert anything in these anything. Where's that from? Do 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 do. Don't be shy. Get a little closer with air extra dry. Positive adjective within the parentheses to no time to Google it now, Dave. You are a brand new friend. Thank you so much. Brain mush gone. Heat cooked brain. Today, this guy right here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Don't forget, hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.